Dancing through dimensions. My sister said, when are we going to dance? The dance has already started, and we're not at the side of the room. We are ready to go. So in this first segment, we're going to look at the first 5 dimensions and give you an experience of all of them. So as I said before, we're cosmic beings who've forgotten that we're cosmic beings. We're unaware of our great power. So now that you've watched the 20-minute summary, we're ready to really get into rolling up our sleeves and feeling these higher dimensions. So my purpose is to give you actual experiences so that you can begin to build your ability, your response to entrain your brain to the higher and higher levels of these dimensions. And what we're going to find out is that we're starting right with 3D, even though we think we're all experts in 3D, right? We've lived here forever. But generally, we're not very grounded here. So we're going to build onto 3rd dimension, 4th dimension, and 5th dimension. You'll get an understanding. We'll talk a little bit about it. At these lower dimensions, you don't really need much understanding because this is where you live. It will also give you an experience, and while you experience these dimensions, there's going to be permanent changes in your electromagnetic field. Those permanent changes then begin to entrain your brain. Your brain opens neural pathways that weren't there before, and you begin to respond to stimuli that you didn't know were there. So as we grow our consciousness, it's much like going into a dark movie theater. In the beginning, you see nothing. And then after you've been there for a few minutes, everything takes shape. So we're going to train ourselves how to see the things take shape that we've never seen before. And that begins to change our existence here in our world in so many ways. We tap into magic. We tap into the unfolded intelligence that's everywhere in the universe. So, you ready to join me? So let's look again at the slide of all of our dimensions. And what we notice is that the universe is it's organized logically. Now, it may not seem logical, but once we get to one of these spaces and then go to the next one, you can almost feel that the next one is calling you forward into it. So we had this drawn in to show that at the lower dimensions, who we are is really pretty small. And as we lift our dimensional ability, who we are becomes greater and greater. And we could put an infinity symbol at the top of this because we don't know how many dimensions. I'm just saying in 2017 we got to the 10th dimension. Some of these dimensions took us, we spent 5 years in our weekly MARC classes just researching the 6th dimension. Because MARC doesn't allow us to move on to a higher dimension until we've stabilized the space, and then we can find it again and again and again, and others can find it too. Once the space is stable, he goes, all right, now we're ready for the 7th. 17 was such a big year that MARC said, we've got to get you through the 9th dimension to get you to the 10th. So are there more dimensions? Yes. MARC said that there's any number of dimensions, but after about 26, they begin to make no sense to us. I think that might start a little earlier than 26. In 2017, actually, a team of Swiss neuroscientists, they mapped the brain using geometric algorithms, and what they found was evidence that our brain can sense up to 11 dimensions. And one of the researchers said, we found a world that we never imagined. Well, that's where we're playing. So each dimension has more scope and capacity than the one below. It has more complexity. Now, And this complexity is a driving factor, because in the beginning, your brain can't comprehend the complexity until your brain changes how it functions. So then your brain goes, by seeing the world that way, it doesn't work. I need to do this. So we're going to change our brain functions by simply hanging out in these dimensions, and the dimension changes you. The best way to do it is just to relax, surrender, because thinking or trying to see something is counterproductive. So for the sake of learning, we've isolated these dimensions into a layer cake, but you can't take the third dimension out of somebody and they still exist. So we're doing it, it's as if we're slowing down the universe so you can feel just this bit and then feel just this bit, because otherwise it really is too overwhelming. So this map is the story so far, and it's 30 years of weekly research, channeling from my guide Mark, and we don't know where it's going. Who knew that we would be doing this now? So in this first segment, well, in all these segments, we're going to consolidate 30 years of work into a way that gives you an idea of what's possible, but not just an idea. Because at these higher dimensions, you're going to find that there's no thinking possible, that there's just a space. And you think, oh, but shouldn't I see guides? Shouldn't I see angels? Shouldn't I be doing something? No. We're going to hang out in these spaces until the space reorganizes our awareness. Then that reorganization is permanent. You may not feel it, but we're making it permanent by going back, and our awareness, let's just say our awareness just changes. You can't know the moment it changes, but you can feel that something is different. So we talk about the 3D world, and we're experts in it, but we usually aren't. We usually are ungrounded here. So this is one of the purposes, because I've always been ungrounded, that many years ago I wrote the book Soul Body Fusion, because I was usually up here with my soul and my body was just doing the laundry. And I thought that was fine, and I didn't realize that in our map of dimensions, in order to expand, in order to find awakening and enlightenment, we have to be present here. So what we're going to do to give you an experience of the 3D is we're going to do a soul body fusion here. So you don't have to know anything. You're just going to sit here and put your hands open on your lap. And we hold the intention that your greatest self, your greatest, we call it soul, divinity, light, power, comes as much as possible into your body. And we're going to do this for 10 minutes. A normal soul body fusion session is 20. We're just going to do this for 10. Stay with it, stay alert. So don't meditate. What you're going to find is that the space is so nice, you go, whoa. Stay present. Keep focusing on your feet, your hands. I might talk a little bit. We may not do full 10 minutes, so I'm just going to see how it is. I can sense when you all have it. And those of you who are watching this later, watching this on live stream, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be in the room. So we set the intention for a soul body fusion, for us to be fully integrated, grounded in our body now. And it's okay to keep your eyes open so that you don't meditate. Notice how your breathing begins to change. as you move from your head to your body. Try to let your mind be quiet and pay attention to any sensations in your body. Are you getting hot? Are your hands heating up or tingling? Does your neck want to move? You might feel that you're getting bigger, more solid than you've noticed before. And there's no limit to how much of your higher dimensional self you can bring into your body. Your body is an instrument for all of who you are. Imagine your body stretching, making room for more of you, an inner stretch. Stay focused on your body, out of your head. And there's moments of succinct shifts. I just felt a shift where all of you just came more grounded in yourself. Your hands are palms up as if you're receiving all your higher aspects. This balances your vibration throughout your body, harmonizes it with the higher part of who you are. And again, feel more real, more present. Another 2 minutes or so. I feel another shift is right here. There comes a moment when you just fall into yourself. You just let go of trying. Find that sweet spot. Good. Something happens. You get a little disoriented from who you were. Beautiful. So remember this space. We cannot get to the higher dimensions of light unless we're grounded. In the past, we learn these dimensions by meditating. Only because in meditation are we slow enough to actually feel what we're feeling. But the point isn't to be a higher dimensional meditator. The point is to be a cosmic multidimensional being embodied here and now, living your life. So feel what it feels like to meditate from your body rather than leaving it, because this is foundational. Got it? All right. All right, move around. We'll assume that you totally got this, the physical. For me, you can't do soul-body fusion enough. And in the beginning, it might take 10 minutes. After a while, it's just nearly instantaneous because we tend to escape. And it does change everything. You know, we can go to these higher dimensions, but until we're grounded here, it's just an A ride at Disneyland. It doesn't impact our life. So it's so important that number one for your spiritual growth is, whatever you call it, being present, soul-body fusion, being here. All right, so let's look then, now that we're solidly 3D, to the fourth dimension. 4D, waves and energy. So it's the particle part of energy the physical part was particle part, now it's waves and energy. This is what a lot of people call the fifth dimension. And when we get to the fifth, I'll explain clearly why the fourth dimension is the next higher dimension from the 3D world. It's still physical, it's still in time-space. Everything you can do at a lower dimension, you can do better from a higher dimension. So that's why our healing modalities, we have sound healing and color healing and light healing and energy and Reiki and acupuncture and homeopathy. It's because at the next highest level, it's always easier to impact the lower levels. So that's what we found in our natural healing modalities. So your aura, light, intuition, the space around you is fourth dimensional. The insights that aren't logical are coming to you through your fourth dimensional, I'll call it your light body, your fourth dimensional light body. So we need our 3D grounded, and we need our fourth dimension, I'm going to say accelerated. In order to accelerate our frequency, we have to be harmonized. And when we accelerate our frequency, it does a few things. One is we know that at higher and higher levels, there's more bliss, there's more peace, there's more homogeneity, there's more joy. So what we're going to do now, because we understand the fourth dimension, we understand waves, energy, light, and color, so there's not much explanation. But what we're going to do is increase our vibrations, kind of go into an atomic accelerator. And let me draw an atomic accelerator here. And this is the higher frequencies. So what happens like a tornado is you get kind of sucked up here, and we go higher and higher here from the lower dimensions to the higher dimensions, faster and faster and faster. So there may be a couple ways that you actually experience this. I'm going to tell you both of them. In the beginning, when we first did these kinds of atomic acceleration, it was uncomfortable. You would feel hot, you would feel like your skin's crawling, you would feel itchy, the top of your head would itch, you would want to get out of your skin. That may happen, so I'm letting you know that now. But the last few times I've done this, atomic acceleration or increasing your frequency, your vibrations, I noticed there was just stillness. And nobody felt the twirling. No one felt the itching. No one felt the vibration. And after I got over I must have messed up, I realized that, oh no, in the beginning we were riding out here, but of course you can go up the center where you just lift and you don't feel any of it. So just to tell you, when we do this, you may feel something or you may feel nothing, and you won't know until the end that you feel different. So you can't judge these journeys by what you feel in the journey. I liken it to being in a hot air balloon where you don't have any sense of movement unless you look at the ground because you're with the wind. So we're with the wind. But why are we doing this? A couple things. One is as we accelerate our vibration, anything that we've been holding on to that's a lower vibration, old belief systems, old stuff with our dad, whatever, begins to be jettisoned out like a centrifuge spinning around. The heavy stuff goes to the outside. So our goal in this is to accelerate our frequency so that anything that we've not quite handled yet, we don't have to identify it, falls out, gets pushed out, and then we lift and lift. And a story, when I was first doing this kind of high consciousness work, I was working with my light body, and I had a really nice meditation. Then I went out for a run, and as I was running around the lake, I felt as if this huge anvil, this huge piece of steel fell out of my aura. And I'm thinking, wow, that was big. And I couldn't wait to get back home and ask White Eagle, my guide, what was that? Because it had to have been something that was holding me back forever. And he said something wise that I stuck on the refrigerator. He said, Jonette, when you release something, move out of the way so you don't step in it again. So it's not worthwhile to evaluate what you're letting go of. Just let it go. All right. So with that set up, we're going to do the atomic accelerator. You may feel something or not. Mark is a master at creating these spaces, so he's going to transmit whatever it takes to move us to a higher level of frequency, vibration, harmony. Stay grounded. That's why we did the soul body fusion. And let's see what happens. Welcome, sojourners. This is Mark. You're going to move in juxtaposition with yourself, finding yourself in a new way. You've moved to higher frequencies before, but our goal is to move you to a frequency higher than you've ever been able to embody, and then to stretch you a little more. We anticipate a little discomfort as you become something you haven't remembered for a long time. Staying grounded in your body with the intention that your frequency increases. Your harmony expands. It's not essential that you feel anything. As you grasp finer and finer elements of the universe. Becoming filled with light and filled with space. As if you can sense for the first time that part of you that is light. Density is falling away. Heaviness and issues need not be resolved, but released. Really let go. Yourself wants to take you further. You're still grounded. Explore the edge of the fourth dimension. Relax, but be present. In the higher reaches of the fourth dimension, you move beyond emotion. Notice if you're becoming more empty and more clear. As density falls away, you find that there's no stickiness. There's a sense of floating and freedom. And you can almost taste it. It's physical. Allowing yourself to feel cleansed, uplifted, emptied. Renewed. And now put even more awareness on your body. So that this high space in your body are reacquainted, cellularly reconnected. And notice how you can hold this space and be present. So begin to wiggle your toes, begin to sense this world a little more. Notice I'm not saying come back to this world. We want you to always be atomically accelerated and always be present. Take a few deep breaths. That was yummy. Those of you who know Mark's work realize that There was a lot more than just the fourth dimension in that one. Again, all the dimensions are always there. We just don't know how to feel them yet. And so those of you who've been working with Mark and know what to feel, you can sense what's there. All right. So the fourth dimension, light, waves, energy, inspiration. Do you feel lighter? Can you feel that? And it was so fine. I don't think anybody was out here. I think you all just lifted up like that hot air balloon going higher and higher and higher. All right. So now let's look at the fifth dimension. Whoops. And soul body fusion. Geometry and symbols. Now, when Mark first talked about this one, I'm going, geometry, symbols, that wasn't really my favorite subject. But he described that geometry, symbols, codes hold energy, so that the energy that we find in the fourth dimension got pulled into the fourth dimension because of the codes or geometry that are portals into our world. So an example, many of you have done Reiki. Reiki is an energy healing. But how Dr. Usui learned it is he received codes or symbols, and those codes or symbols held the energy. So many times in the mystery schools or in the ancient Egypt or the old Indian books, the Vedic books, there's symbols, there's mandalas. These symbols hold and organize energy and light. So that's why Mark calls the fifth dimension, which is higher, it's a higher organizing principle than energy or light. Symbols, codes, geometries. So they are, let's call them catalysts. They're like packets of symbols, and they usually come when you feel them. They usually come so quickly you can't absorb them, you can't feel what they are, but they come as catalysts or enzymes that reprogram your DNA and reorient you so you can hold more light, more frequency, more of the higher dimensions. So that's their importance. They're bridging our world with the higher worlds. So DNA is coded. Codes are in the mystery schools. So I was asking myself, how am I going to transmit codes? Because I'm not going to draw these codes. So they carry a great deal of cosmic intelligence. And with the research I've done on the physical planes, one of my first experiences of codes was an initiation. I was in Peru and received an initiation from an ancient inner pyramid, and at the top of this inner pyramid was a sun disk. And as I connected in my inner journey to the sun disk, it downloaded these codes. And I was told that these codes are packets of information, packets of energy that can be transmitted. And so my guides helped me learn how to transmit what's called a solar initiation. Now, in the mystery schools, they often have solar initiations, whether it was the Incas, the Mayans, the Egyptians, the Mesopotamians, solar initiations. Solar initiations are, in my experience, generally coded. So in putting this together today, I thought, well, let's give you a solar initiation. And it's going to come across as a download of codes. They just come from the higher realms. But in initiating, we often use our hands. So what I'm going to do is stand here and hold my hands out, and I'll have you hold your palms out with the intention that you receive a solar initiation. I want you to experience what it feels like in the fifth dimension to receive intelligent codes that open energy portals. That's what it is. So I haven't done this for a while. And usually I'm on top of a mountain in Peru, but hey, everything's possible. So let's see how this works. Yeah. So I'm going to go into a very high state. And those of you who can see my face, you'll see that it's kind of like I leave. My smile goes away, and I'm transmitting, but not transmitting from anything I know. And I just allow myself to be a portal for whatever comes through. And I'll call this a solar initiation, but I have a feeling it's going to be whatever initiation or activation is next for each of you. So, because we're not in charge of what comes through, we're just here to, as I always say, I give you as much as you can handle and a little bit more. Because our life is lived at the edge of our comfort zone. Okay. Bring your hands into your heart, bringing those codes into your heart. And letting them activate your cells, your DNA. Intend that you receive codes to upgrade you to the highest possible level you can embody today. There's an intelligence inside you that knows what to do with these codes and the energies. And everything about who you are begins to restructure according to this higher intelligence. And it is your intelligence. It's initiation into you. The codes, the energies, the geometries are unique for everyone at every moment. Your uniqueness is being stimulated, awakened. Your uniqueness is enlivened. The intelligence of the universe communicates by mathematics, geometry. And you're now open, you've opened your biological vessel to these inputs. To be continually stimulated from the highest dimensions of you. Move your hands down if you'd like. And get an impression. What do you feel like? Hopefully there's a beautiful emptiness there. The space you hold is so beautiful now. In my 20-minute summary, I drew a picture of the shared resonant field of the little tornadoes above all of us until they're connected. Let's just take a few minutes and share our resonant field with all humanity who can at all feel what we're holding. As we expand in service. We resonate out this field that we've attained. We've added our own beauty, our special light to it. Then we share it out. Everyone else adds their beauty, their special light to it, shares it out. Makes for a magnificently colored universe. So, this is the easy part. It gets easier from here. Fourth dimension, grounded, present, honoring time and space. Fifth dimension, energy, light, that fineness, that space, knowing that things will just leave you from this picture. You're atomically accelerated. Issues won't stick. They fall away. They get pushed out. And the higher dimensions work beyond time and space. So everything we do clears all our past lives, all our future lives. We don't have to know everything we're doing. I invite you to be more cognizant of the fifth dimension in your life. Sacred symbols come up to you. You feel energies moving around on your forehead, but they feel geometric. You feel geometric patterns. You feel all of a sudden you are a mandala. Let those happen to you. Let yourself feel that and fall into those spaces. Because it's not mathematical formulas. It's usually symbols, sacred shapes. So feel yourself being these. Fifth dimensional. And then we'll be ready for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and beyond. So, thank you. I know you feel a bit weird. This is perfect. Disorientation is always a prerequisite for change. And the more disoriented, by the end of the day, I hope you lose yourself completely. And then see what we find. So thank you all. I can't believe we did all that in 1 hour. So blessings. We'll have a break and we'll see you for the second part when we move to the dimensions 6 and 7. Thank you.